Hi guys, welcome to Little Wicket Railway. I'm Rob, and in this video we're doing some railway modelling using the AlgoLaser Alpha. Just like 3D printing, I think laser cutting and engraving has the potential to transform our hobby. There are already loads of laser cut kits for baseboards, buildings, scenery available to buy online, but the technology is getting more affordable and accessible, so it's now possible to start designing and producing your own kits at home. AlgoLaser have kindly sent me their Alpha 22-watt laser to try out, and I'm going to put it to the test by using it to build a railway diorama. So whilst I get everything unpacked and set up, let me explain the plan. This is a photo of the cattle dock at Tile Hill Station, and here's another example of one that's been refurbished. The platforms were used to load cattle onto wagons, and I want to see if I can recreate one as a diorama using the AlgoLaser Alpha. It's going to be a two-step process. First, I'm going to make use of the laser's large cutting area to cut out a 30cm by 30cm baseboard. Second, I'm going to see if I can design and cut a cattle dock platform kit to go on top. So that's the plan. Let's see how I get on. That was all pretty easy to put together, and all the tools you need are included. It comes with a quick start booklet, which is easy to follow, but there's also a step-by-step video guide online. In the box, not only do you get the 22-watt laser unit and the frame, but it also comes with an air assist. And this is really important for getting clean cuts or engraving without any burn marks. You also get a pair of protective glasses, also extremely important, and we'll talk more about safety later. Finally, and I think this is really thoughtful, but you get some materials to practice on, a couple of bits of wood and some plastic. So I think it's about time that we fire this up and get the baseboard cut. I'm using 5mm plywood for this, and as you can see, it's on my cutting bed ready to go. I've connected the laser up to my laptop using the USB cable provided, and I'm using software called Lightburn to send it cutting instructions. Rather than design the baseboard from scratch though, I'm going to cheat a little bit. There's a website called boxes.py which will design a box for you and give you everything you need in order to cut it out. So I've designed my baseboard in there, imported the design into Lightburn, set the cutting power and speed, and we're ready to go. And whilst the laser is doing its thing, let's talk about some of its impressive features. At 22 watts, this laser is one of the most powerful in its category. It makes use of the advanced second generation COS technology, and the polarized beam combination improves the performance of the laser beam by about 40%. That extra power gives this laser incredible cutting ability. It's able to get through thicker materials with fewer passes. And it's fast, both in terms of its onboard hardware, which boasts a dual-core CPU, but also in terms of the laser head, which can travel at speeds of up to 400mm per second. It comes with the plug-and-play smart air pump, which supports direct control through software for cleaner cuts and engraving. And it's got a large 400mm square working area, which allows you to work on larger projects. Okay, so it's just finished and it took about 15 minutes. The settings were 100% power, 250mm per minute, one pass, and it looks to me like it's cut straight through this 5mm ply. So let's get it off and see whether we can put it together into a box. It's rare that things go right for me first time, but I can honestly say that on this occasion they did, and after slotting the pieces together and tapping them into place with a rubber hammer, I'm really pleased with the result. It looks incredibly smart, the finger joints are nice and tight, and I've got myself a really strong baseboard. Then it was time to design the cattle dock, and unlike the baseboard, there was no online generator for this. I had to design each part myself, but it didn't actually take too long. I started by creating the shapes to be cut on one layer, and then to test out the engraving capabilities of the laser, I added a detailed texture layer that would be etched on top. The size of the boards that I'm using meant that I had to split the dock over 2 sheets to get all the parts. This was a real test of the laser's speed because I was asking it to engrave over 5,000 individual bricks into this 2mm thick board at 2,500mm per minute. And as you can see, the Alpha had absolutely no issues with this, completing the task in around 30 minutes, with each individual brick perfectly defined thanks to the air pump stopping any charring from occurring around the edges of the lines. Engraving the bricks means no messing about with brick paper later on to create the wall effect. The laser does it all, and as soon as it's done, it's ready to be painted up. And because the bricks are engraved, there's real texture to it, which I think makes it look more realistic, and if you want to rub grout or weathering powders into these, then they'll stay in the etch gaps and give the model some real depth. With all the parts for the dock structure completed, I just needed to create the fencing. Again, this was designed from scratch in Lightburn and sent to the laser. This time I was using 0.9mm thick poly backboard, and at 1000mm per minute and 100% power, the laser had all the parts cut in just over 6 minutes. Before we move on to putting it all together, let's take a minute to talk about safety. Like many things in our hobby, lasers, if used incorrectly, can be dangerous, and we need to take some basic precautions when using them. Fortunately, the AlgoLaser Alpha has a number of built-in safety features to help us out. You've seen what lasers can do to plywood, so it's important that you keep everything that you don't want to be cut or engraved away from the machine. And if you plan on cutting materials, then you'll want to get a cutting bed so that you don't destroy your work surface. The Alpha's safety systems can detect if the laser head or frame becomes tilted or if it loses USB connection, and it can sense irregularities with current and voltage. Lasers can cause permanent eye damage. This laser comes with protective glasses specifically for the wavelength of this laser, and everyone in the same room as the laser must be wearing a pair of these. The detachable metal cover around the laser offers a lot of protection, but even still, it's generally best to avoid looking at the laser head altogether, because even reflected light can be damaging. And should anything be about to go wrong, there's an emergency stop button on the front and a lockable on-off switch to secure it when not in use. And finally, when you're using the laser, fumes are produced from the material being burnt, so you'll need to use it in a well-ventilated area or use an extraction system. And always research the materials you're using with the laser, as some can produce some particularly toxic fumes. So just like with any new bit of kit, it's important to know the risks so that we can take precautions and use it safely. Right, back to the build. This was a really fun bit, seeing it all come together at the end. I used Deluxe Materials Rocket card glue for the fences and Aleene's tacky glue for the wooden dock. I built the dock first just to make sure that I got all my dimensions right. The brickwork nearest the camera had a slight curve to it at the ramp end and needed an extra support just to keep it straight. And because it's so easy to use Lightburn and the Alpha, I was able to design and cut that extra piece within a matter of minutes. I thought the fence might be a bit fragile, but it's sturdier than I thought and actually has quite a bit of strength once glued together. And here's the finished product, and I'm really proud of it. I love the texture of the brickwork, and I think the fencing looks really good. I've not had time to do any scenic work in this video, I'll save that for another day, but I've got a few ideas. And having seen what the Alpha can do, I've already got some more projects planned. If you want to check out the AlgoLaser Alpha, then there's an affiliate link in the description below. You can also check out their website for more information, plus there are groups on Facebook where you can see what other users are creating. Special thanks to the YouTube members and patrons for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it, and your names are up on the screen now. If you enjoyed watching this, then please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That's about it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you again soon.